Welcome to the Rio Rojo Rancho.
Mike Ford made a name for himself as quarterback for Mesquite High School and SMU. And he played a few years of pro ball as well.
They say it's all about the view.
But that's just what he did. The guy you see on the ranch, that's who he is.
Part of this ranch has been in my family since 1880.
Mike was always a big kid, but skilled as well.
I played guard, I thought, because I was always shooting. I always had the ball, but I also jumped center. I was the biggest kid on the block.
His middle school football coaches wanted him to be a lineman.
The coach said, son, you need to get over in the lineman's line. I said, Coach, let's play catch for a second.
I grabbed the football and threw it to him. I said, let's just play catch.
He threw me a football and I threw him one back. We did that about twice, and he told the rest of the kids to find him another place to get that we've got our quarterback.
And I said, you'll be a quarterback, and that was it, put the ball up.
But Mike didn't think he was a football player. He wanted to focus on basketball.
And James Baker talked me into coming out for the football team with 2 games left in the season. We were undefeated, we were 6-0.
And not soon after that happened, I decided to go to the basketball gym. Both 61 years old now, and I hear about that story every day.
The rest is history. As a sophomore, Mike started for the Skeeters team that went to the state championship game.
He was one of those field house rats. You know, you couldn't run him off. You know, let's get 2 or 3 receivers and let's throw some balls after the practice. Well, Coach Gray saw all that.
There used to be a deal for every sophomore you start, you lose a game. Coach Gray bought into that a little bit, but Coach Gray was also a smart man.
Mike was recruited by everyone, including Woody Hayes from Ohio State. His mother didn't know the famous coach, but she did know one thing.
I told him you wasn't going north of the Red River to play college football, and he may as well get back in that red car and go back where he come from.
Mike chose SMU, and new head coach Ron Meyer had him as his starting quarterback as a freshman.
Highly touted recruit from Mesquite High School. Mike Ford ushered in Mustang Mania.
Mustang Mania. It was on every bus, every billboard, handed out tickets everywhere. Just get people to the stadium. All we had to do was win, and we did.
We're side by side. We were meant to be. Mike and I in spring training, and he lets one go. And it comes in, wham! Hits my hand, and next thing you know, all I can see is this blood splatter. He split these 2 fingers right here. You can still see a faint mark right there.
In his sophomore year, SMU won at Florida, tied Ohio State and Columbus, and Mike led the nation in total offense.
This is a Pony Express award Eric and I created.
Craig James and Eric Dickerson arrived in 1980, Mike's junior year.
Preseason All-American Heisman Trophy candidate. And no one had ever thrown for 8,000 yards in a career, and I had well over 5,000 after 2 and had 2 left.
Well, let me take you to the first game I played with him. And we were playing Rice. I think I caught 8 or 10 balls in one game. First game I ever played.
Against Rice, we went the length of the field to win the game, and I think I completed like 8 out of 10, and probably 7 of them were to Craig. Those passes I was throwing away the first 2 years, I had somebody to find after that.
But in the very next game, Mike broke his leg, and that ended his season and effectively his career at SMU.
I broke my leg in the first half, tore all the ligaments in my knee.
I remember it like yesterday. He had to wear a cast for, maybe 8 weeks.
When he got hurt, it was a terrible blow to him. It kind of forced Ron Meyer into moving from the passing game to the running game.
He held it in. He never was a bitter guy. Mike always was a happy guy. I mean, always a guy that lifted you up. But I know internally it had to get to him because Mike was one of the top players in the country. And Mike could have been a first player pick.
I'm too old to think about regrets, We all make decisions that some turn out, some don't. The quicker you pull your britches up from those that don't and get back to working on those that do, the better off you are. Later in life, I was a backup quarterback with a set of headphones on.
Mike was a backup in the NFL for 2 seasons before playing a few years in the old USFL. That's where he and I got to know each other, playing together for the San Antonio Gunslingers.
I've worked for 2 other people in my life besides me, but I never filled out a resume.
Mike had a successful career in the produce business, but it always bothered him that he never got his degree.
I always kept thinking about the education. It wasn't gonna make me sell any more tomatoes or grow any prettier corn, but it was something I always thought about, and they let me do my 4 hours, and I will always be thankful for that.
You're not going to be a young man forever.
So to earn his last 4 hours of credit, Mike produced a documentary called Stay in the Game. in which he spoke with other former SMU athletes about the importance of education.
Hey folks, we're back on the trail again for a little project with SMU. This is Mike Ford, and I'm here with Reggie Dupard.
Mike is as proud of that degree as anything he's ever done.
Way up high. Way up high. It finished something you started, you know.
When he called to let me know that, and I was like, wow, way to go. You know, very impressive. More than anything he did on the football field was to going back and getting and committing to finishing.
If you're dependent on football to be your safety belt, you're going to lose everything you work for. If you use football for a stepping stone to get up off your butt and get busy doing something, then it's the best step you'll ever take in your life. Sports still is my life because it was a foundation for everything I did after that. Taught me about hard work, taught me about losing. Anybody can win, better learn how to lose because it's going to happen. It taught me how to socialize and be respectful to people that I never met before.
Raised in a black neighborhood, went to an all-black high school. When we met, we hit it off from the jump. I mean, Mike, open arms, like he knew me. And we tease about it, but you know, that's my white brother, I'm his black brother, right?
You know, friendships are for life. True friendships are for life. A lot of other things are fleeting. I'm very fortunate that I've got lifelong friendships, Mike being, you know, right at the top of them.
The relationships that I built with some of those guys back then, they would run out in front of a train to help Mike Ford, and likewise I would for them, no doubt.
Mike Ford, man, this song is for you, man. The best thing Mesquite ever created. Lord have mercy. Ooh-wee. Yeah, Mike Ford, y'all. Gonna fire it up, it's about time. Chillin' with Mike Ford, sipping moonshine. Back up in the woods, it's so divine. Yeah, it's Monday night, y'all, it's game time. M-I-K-E F-O-R-D. Yeah, it's Mike Ford, y'all. M-I-K-E F-O-R-D.